Katy, Texas.
Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. We are so glad that you could join us today, and we really do appreciate all of that. Thank you. And thank you for all of these people out here that have cruised in, because here at the Lupe Tortilla, they're serving breakfast tacos.
Good breakfast tacos.
Mimosas. They also have Bloody Marys here and other delightful things. Have you had any? You have. Good. Why don't you put that headset on, and Mike, why don't you introduce our next guest?
So joining us now is Carrie Schneider. Carrie's got that cool-looking 69 CUDA sitting out there.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, sir.
tell us about the Hemi that's in it, because it says Hemi on the side of the scoop, so I'm assuming it's a Hemi.
Hemi in it.
It does. It has a 2006 5.7 base.
Pull this up just a little tighter. There you go.
It has a 2006 5.7 based Hemi in it. We first put it in the car back in 4th of July 2005.
Oh, wow.
So it's been in and out many times. Finally got it on the road about 2 months ago. This is the second place it's been. It's got a whole 200 miles on it since we got it together.
Good look, very, very good looking car. As soon as it
is.
pulled in, it caught my eye, because I'm very much a fan of that first generation Barracuda, and this one especially because it's the notchback, it's not the fastback. So, a little bit different for what a lot of people expect, because that was originally kind of a economy car.
Yes, sir. Everybody's used to the fastback, the big glass window, because of the Hemi under glass.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the BO23 cars, which were the factory Hemi cars that drag raced with, names like Sox and Martin.
So what got you to put a new gen Hemi, what I'll call a newer generation Hemi, into it? Was it did you find one that was wrecked and the parts were available, or did you buy a factory crate motor?
No, I've always wanted a 71 Hemi CUDA. Well, the availability of a 70 Hemi CUDA for a guy like me is nil.
Yeah.
And I had this car I bought in 96. It had a 340 in it. It was a fun little car.
Oh, yeah.
And in 2003, when the Hemi came back, I thought, man, that would be neat. So me and some friends, I bought one from a wrecking yard, the motor, transmission, computer harness. Nobody made anything for them, so we got together on the 4th of July weekend, pulled the 340, and got to work. But based on funds, I was never able to complete it. So it's set for a long time off and on, and now everybody makes everything for them. And over the last year and a half of being retired, I was finally able to finish it. Now, from 2001 to now, 2005 to now, with the help of a lot of friends, we've been able to get it done, get it tuned, get it on the road, and now I can enjoy it. Yes, sir.
So what transmissions you got?
It actually has a 727 manual valve body reverse pattern in it.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute.
old
What
school.
does all that mean?
A
It
727
all means he's not a Mopar guy.
That's fine. A 727 is an old school Mopar transmission.
Torque flight.
Yes.
Okay.
And
3-speed?
yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Manual valve body just means it shifts like a 4 or 5 speed without a clutch.
Hard.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
I did it for financial reasons. Eventually, it'll get an overdrive in it, but
Right.
I
To make
had
more,
to get it on
more
the road.
streetable. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Had a friend years ago he put a clutch flight. Put a clutch in front of it instead of a torque converter.
Yes, sir.
So that he could launch it with his clutch. And then after that, it was just shifting it like an automatic.
Yes,
and of
sir.
course, now this was back in like 70, 71, so it was a cool thing to do back then.
God, you're old.
Well, but again, the torque flight back in the 60s and 70s, the torque flight was Mopar's beefiest transmission. It could take the most power with an automatic in the automatic world on a Mopar product. So
Yes, sir. And this transmission is built to handle a lot more than this motor will put into it. I got it from a buddy of mine that was running it behind a car that was about 750 horse.
Oh, wow.
My motor's only about 4 1/4, so we've got no
Under
problem.
stressed. You don't have to worry about breaking a transmission, beating on the car.
No.
So what final drive ratio do you have in it?
I got 391s in it.
Oh, so it's a little buzzy going down the highway, is it?
It's fun. Again, I've only got
Sings a lot.
It does. I've only got 200 miles on it, so I'm still getting used to it. It's been off the road for so long that I just get a big joy out of it. A friend of mine, the gentleman with the Daytona, got me to come out here today. This is only the second place it's been since we did get it running. I love it. It's like I said, I've had it since '96, and now I can enjoy it.
Have you lit the tires up on it yet?
A little bit. Not in an area. I'm big on this. Not in an area where there are people.
Good.
Or I'm just really big on that.
Yeah, we're not interested in having you do it here.
No, I will not.
We want people to behave here.
There's
as
a
they
time
come
and a
go.
place.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is
no,
not
no.
it.
I
isn't
wasn't
it?
suggesting that we do it here. I was just
Right.
asking if you lit it up.
Yes,
you
sir.
just started driving it.
Because you can.
Yeah. Well, I had to test and make sure that
Everything was
Get the
capable.
research.
Yes.
Had to do the research on it.
right. And after all, I am a teenager at heart.
Well, I would assume so, building that kind of a car.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure when you wheeled in, it's attracting quite a bit of attention because it's the car looks good. You know, we were talking before about some of these cars. You know, everybody throws an LS in something. You threw a Hemi in it,
Yes, sir.
and it should have a Hemi in it ultimately as a Mopar product. Did you go out and buy the electronic package for it, or did you guys adapt what you took out of the salvage car? to
Actually,
make
I
work?
didn't. I bought what's called a Mega Squirt system. It's a standalone computer that a lot of people use, but it's actually very user friendly.
And is it designed for the Hemi?
No, it's just designed to run a computerized car.
Okay.
There's a program that another company makes, and I got that program from them. Works awesome.
Well, and you know, a lot of people don't realize that with onboard diagnostics, there's a commonality, whether it's a GM or a European car or a Ford or a Chrysler
It's still
product.
under the hood, the same components,
the
basically.
OBD2 all has the same action. They might do it a little bit different, so that's why the Mega Squirt program, the Mega Squirt package on it, can be adaptable to whatever brand you have underneath it.
They actually call it Mega Squirt.
Yes. It's a lot of people with Miatas. You see them, I'm sure, in your show throughout your studies. They run Miatas with LS motors, Miatas with different things.
5-liter Mustang motors in it.
They do. A lot of those gentlemen are running a Mega Squirt system.
Don's jealous.
Yeah, I am
Very.
too, because I've often thought about trying to do something like that, but messing with the computer and stuff. I didn't realize there was like a universal, generic setup that you could do something with.
I'm more familiar with the old dribbler system myself.
That was my problem. I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
$1,300.
That's always been your problem, Mike.
That's actually not a bad price either.
No.
And so with that, how does it connect to the electronics of the engine? The sensors and stuff. Do you order a Mega Squirt that fits a Hemi, or do you order a Mega Squirt and then you have to build the harness to make it fit?
EFI Source is another company. They make the harness so it was all plug and play. There were 3 wires I had to plug into the car. Of course,
Power ground.
Power ground and
probably an ignition.
yeah, the
feed.
ignition. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had to think about it.
Power ground and ignition.
But it was very simple to do, even for an old soldier like myself.
Well, that's pretty genius on them to build a universal or a system adaptable, because they'll sell a whole lot more of them, because so many people are doing these modern engine packages in the older cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly the trucks, like the C10s, it's real popular. And that just makes life a lot simpler if you can do something like that.
The 7-year-olds next to
Yeah, the 12-year-olds down there still giggling over it. But, I think that's pretty cool.
So $1,200, and then how much for the harness?
I got my harness, computer, program, and everything from EFI Source, was the company's name, and I spent a whole $1,500 on it.
No, that's not much.
No.
Not much
No.
to do what you did.
Right.
So
Compared to-
what'd you pull the Hemi out of? Truck or car?
The original Hemi came out of a 2004 truck. The one that's sitting in there right now, just because of some things that happened, come out of a 2006 Charger Daytona.
Okay.
Buddy of mine built a 426 for his Daytona. This motor had some head work and a cam, so we threw it in here when he put his 426 in his car. And yes.
Oh, forgive our children here.
No, we're good. Yeah, I got you.
So is there? You're pretty happy with this engine package that's in it? Are you going to go to anything different? Maybe jump on a 392 or
The future plans are because these 06 motors.
a elephant?
No. This car weighs 3,000 pounds. That's too much motor for this car. The 06 Hemis have a problem with dropping valves, as I'm sure you guys through your research.
It's cam issues.
Well, the cam issues I understand, yes. But so when this motor dies, and it will.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Find
shall we
another
say
one.
help it.
Yeah.
But when it does, the 392 long block is $2,800 from Chrysler. I'll buy
For the long block.
For the long
Oh,
block.
that's actually pretty cheap.
It is.
So I'll buy a long block, put my accessory drives and stuff on it, drop it right back in the car, reprogram it, and be done with it.
Well, I have to tell you, that 392
impressed.
is bad to the bone.
Yeah, it
I
is.
agree.
I've had an opportunity to drive one of those in a current car. Wow.
And I think it's more than enough motor for that little 3,000-pound
yeah,
car.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the one that's currently in the Challenger, it's more than enough motor. And, to me personally, don't get me wrong, I love the Hellcats. I love the red eyes. Love all that. And but it's way too much horsepower.
When you get to a certain point where it's not what you could consider
Usable.
a muscle car that you can drive every day of the week and then go to the track, it becomes a little more tracky than streety.
Right.
Is that a word?
Tracky than streety.
Tracky than streety. Boy,
Okay.
we are adding to the
vocabulary.
today.
We're doing our part.
Street unruly. How's that?
There
So
you go.
let me ask a question, because I know back in the day, Mopar did build a small number of Hemi Barracudas.
Yes, sir.
Did they ever build one in a notchback?
To my
Were they
knowledge,
all fastbacks?
they were all fastbacks. There's one car that was built. I can't remember who built it. I think it was Tom Hoover, and it wasn't a production car, but it was called the Ball Hemi, and it was a notchback.
Okay. Tom Hoover
of the
of
track-
funny car fame. Tom
Yes, sir.
Hoover. Okay.
And it was a what they called a Ball Hemi, and it was built on a 440.
Oh,
That would
your fan club is here.
yeah. Exactly.
It's all good. But it was built on a 440 base, and it was called a Ball Hemi.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no,
Why did
not
they
production.
call it that?
Because the heads and the way it was
Because it
built
took balls to drive it.
Ba-dum-bum.
we'll be here all day.
Don't forget to tip the waitress.
I think it's been all day for just the past 15 minutes. I think. Oh my God.
All right.
Love it.
Well, thank you
Well,
so
Carrie,
much for stopping by.
We appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, guys. Love it. Love what's
Yeah.
going on out here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We are thanks again for stopping by. We appreciate
Thanks.
you. We are at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, Texas, which is on the Grand Parkway just south of I-10. Let me make that perfectly clear. It's the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, Texas.
You're going to be in so much trouble.
I'm
Just
not.
keep picking that scab, Don.
I've said over and over, it is Katy, Texas. There's only one Katy, Texas. There's only one Lupe Tortilla in it. This is it. Just saying. They're all inside. All right. We're going to insert This Week in Auto History right here.
Oh, we're jumping all around the place, aren't we?
We are. So let's just do that, okay?
Well, let me find it here. Because you're moving around. Okay, so
Just, the reason I do it is
just
because
adjust.
I can.
Adjust.
Yeah.
Well, each week we kind of share a little bit about what happened this week in automotive history over time. In 1914, the Dodge brothers actually completed their first vehicle. John and Horace Dodge, who actually began their business career as bicycle manufacturers, entered in the automotive industry as automotive parts manufacturers in 1901. They built engines for who? Ransom Oldsmobile. Ransom Olds.
I did not know that.
Yep. They also built
The Dodge brothers built an engine for Oldsmobile? Huh.
And they also built engines for Henry Ford. By 1910, the Dodge Brothers Company was the largest parts manufacturing firm in the United States. And then in 1914, the Dodge Brothers founded the new Dodge Brothers Motor Car Company and released their first vehicle. It was called Old Betsy. Don't get me going. Why I don't know. How Betsy was in there.
Well,
but
yeah, I don't know anything about
Old
Betsy. I know about old paint, but I don't know about old.
And then
Betsy.
in 1923, Garrett Morgan of Cleveland, Ohio, received a patent for the traffic signal. The red, yellow, green light bulb system, the automated light system, and he sold that technology to General Electric for $40,000. Just think if he
was a lot of money back then.
Yeah,
too.
but if he'd have kept the patent rights for it, how much more it had been worth right now.
Yeah. The one that got away.
In 1945, Tony Holman purchased the Indianapolis Motor Speedway from Eddie Rickenbacker of
Football.
I think it was a military ace pilot. Eddie
Rickenbacker. Yeah. World War I.
He was a World War I ace pilot. And Tony Holman bought it for $750,000. In 1954, the first automatic toll collection machine was placed in service in the Union, New Jersey toll plaza. And it was one of those where, it had the little wire mesh basket and you'd throw a quarter in it.
I remember that.
So that was the first implementation of a toll booth in the United States. Was on the
and it was in New Jersey.
It was on the New Jersey Turnpike.
Have you been there?
Oh yeah, I've actually driven through that one. My parents used to live in Union, but the fun thing is, for a quarter, they still just charge a quarter even on the New York Thruway. You just have to stop about every 3 miles and throw a quarter in them. So, in 1965, Craig Breedlove drove his jet-powered Spirit of America Sonic 1 past 600 miles an hour. The interesting thing about Craig Breedlove, he was the first one to get a vehicle past 400, 500, and then 600 miles an hour.
I remember when all that was happening.
And there was a lot of them doing it with Breedlove and Art Arfons and a couple of others.
The Green Monster.
Mm-hmm. So, and then in 1970, the first wheeled vehicle landed on the moon.
That's right.
No, it might be somebody.
The rover.
No, that was actually the second one. The first one was put on the moon by the Russians. An unmanned Soviet lunar probe called Lunar 17 landed in the Sea of Rains, and a couple of hours later, it released a self-propelled vehicle remotely controlled by the Soviet Union. And that's right. Yeah, it's the Soviets did. The Russians did it. So I didn't realize that. I actually thought the first one was the rover that went up with our moon landing mission.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That the Russians actually put one on the ground before we did. In 1977.
Great year. Terrible year for Corvettes, but I bought one. Of course I did.
In New York, Mahwah, New York, the workers completed the 100 millionth Ford ever produced.
100 millionth
Ford ever produced. You got to remember, they built 15 million Model Ts. So in 77, the 100 millionth Ford ever built, and it was a 1978 Ford Fairmont four-door sedan. And it's actually in the Ford Museum. And the Fairmont was introduced in 1978 to replace the discontinued Ford Maverick. And actually, the Fairmont ended up being the chassis for the new, in that generation, the Mustang. They shared that whole chassis.
The Fairmont was a Mustang?
Well, they shared.
No, I understand. But that's basically what you're saying, is that the Fairmont was, oh, my God.
No, the Mustang was a Fairmont.
Whatever.
And then in 1998, brand new Daimler Chrysler began trading shares on the New York Stock Exchange. The company had been formed 5 days earlier when American Chrysler Corporation merged with the German conglomerate Daimler-Benz. As a result of the merger, Daimler Chrysler became the world's fifth largest automaker behind General Motors, Ford, Toyota, and Volkswagen. And now, Daimler Chrysler is long gone, and that is the sound system of a slingshot.
I hate those things. I hate slingshots.
Because the sound system.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that.
That's not a factory sound system. I
think that they're dumb. I would never.
As the DeLorean drives by, everybody loves a DeLorean, and he's driving by with his gull wings open.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of the slingshots. Sorry, not at all.
I drove one in Denton, and the Denton police aren't fans either.
Did you get a ticket?
Not when I was driving.
Well, they're super lightweight and super fast.
Yes, sir, they are.
And you got pulled over. How fast were you going, Mars?
I don't remember.
That's going to be I'm going to put that on our Facebook page.
I just don't.
What was the fastest speeding ticket you ever got? and we will probably give away some trinket we have in the in-wheel time closet for whoever
Prize
got pulled
closet.
over going the fastest.
I'm not a ticket getter.
Oh, okay. Well, then you won't win.
I try not to be.
No, I'm not. I think I've had one or maybe 2 tickets in my entire life.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. One of them was
no
making
comment.
an illegal lane change, which was kind of a bogus thing. I was ticked. But I did it, and I got caught, and he gave me a ticket. Okay, fine. And I think I've had 1 or 2 speeding tickets, but they're, like 10 over. Okay. Really? Really?
I remember Angie.
I'm doing 73 miles an hour on the Sam Houston Tollway. Cars are blowing by me.
You're in the way.
They're
you're gonna get run
blowing
over.
by me at 90 or 100.
and he picks you out and gives
nobody.
you a ticket.
No, I've never had a ticket on the tollway. So there's cops on the tollway, and they're parked over to the side of the road. And everybody slams on their brakes, but they're sleeping.
They're eating
They're
donuts.
not doing anything.
They're sleeping off the
Well,
sugar high
whatever,
of the donuts.
whatever the case may be. All right, Mr. Mars, why don't you go ahead and introduce our next guest?
If you've seen it out there, there's this 52 Chevy pickup out there. And I've seen a picture of what's inside the bed. But Peter Holt, our next guest,
Yes.
that is his truck, and he redid this bed with this flag. I wish we could get a picture of it and put it up on
Well,
the video.
you can do that if you
we
want to.
may do that, but
Yeah.
I don't know how we'll get it off his
Peter,
phone.
have we ever met? Maybe once, haven't we? Once.
I believe so.
Once.
Oh,
Yeah.
how cool is that?
This is Stan's son.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
I think if we met, it would have been somewhere between 2007 and 2009, and I was much younger then. Just saying.
So is he.
So
yeah,
was
he
I.
had brown hair
Yeah.
is what he's trying to say.
So was I.
So, how did you come about this 52 pickup?
I acquired it at an auction. At
Really?
Meekum.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
at the Meekum here.
At the Meekum. It was in Houston.
Yeah?
Yeah, this would have been back in 2015.
Were you looking for a pickup truck,
Uh,
or
just
just go
something-
there and it
just
just
something unique.
reached out and said, "Buy me"?
I bought 2 cars that weekend, and that was one of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have the other one?
I do.
What is it?
It is a a 76 FJ40 Toyota.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool little truck.
Yeah.
Those are hard to come by.
So
nowadays.
when you bought this Chevy, did it have the American flag bed already in it?
It did not. It was
So that was
pretty-
something you added to it?
It was. Yeah. Well, I had it. So it was as my wife told me, it was already done when I bought it. So I had to have it redone.
Of course. Well, that's what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I tried to explain that to her. She
Yeah.
didn't-
Well,
she
that's what
didn't
we
seem
do.
to
Is she here
understand.
today?
She is.
Okay. Well, because we'll try to explain
I'll
it.
Yeah, I'll bring her over, and you guys can explain how.
No,
how
we'll
sane
just-
I am.
We'll just
We'll
create
just-
more
I'm just going to
problems
say we'll
for
get you in further in trouble. But
yeah, you don't
so,
want our
what
advice.
kind of motors this got in it?
It has a 383 stroker in it.
A 383 stroker in the 52.
In the 52.
Have you done any modifications to the interior?
I have. I had the entire, so that was what I was sending it off to have redone, which ended up repainting the entire truck.
Of course you did.
Right. Changing the bed. It's basically brand new. And so, yeah, redid the entire interior.
Does it have the original chassis under it?
It does not have the original chassis.
Yeah, I would think not.
So, in other words, the only thing that's original on it is the sheet metal that's on the outside of it.
Some of it.
Some of it.
Some of it.
Right.
Some of it. Yeah, it's definitely like George Washington's axe handle. You know,
Right.
It's got 5 new handles and 3 new heads, and so it's all new to me. The entire interior of it was redone in Italian leather. It's got an Alcantara suede double
Headliner.
diamond stitch headliner,
Nice,
and
yes.
custom steering wheel. Had them take the entire dash back down to bare metal, fill all the holes, run all of the air conditioning up inside of it, so it's all very clean.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's real tasteful. It's nothing wild.
Do
It's all
you
just
show it or you cruise it or?
cruise it?
Cruise it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Bought it to drive.
What's that?
You bought it to drive.
I did buy it to drive. I took it over to Classic Cars of Houston to like I said, just finish it out. and now I can't drive it because they finished it out.
So nice. I know that feeling very well.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I unfortunately made a car that way that I had bought new from Chevrolet well, I actually ordered it, came in, and I drove it for a couple of years. I think I put 35,000 miles on it, and then I decided that I wanted to show it. So there comes, new paint job. Not that there was anything wrong with the old one, but I have it custom.
That's right.
And then we spend all of that money on the chrome underneath the hood. And then we get underneath it, and we clean underneath the chassis.
Which means you can never drive it on the road again.
And then if that wasn't good enough, then I had a friend of mine pinstripe underneath it so I could put mirrors underneath it, put it up on Jackson so you could look underneath there and see how clean it was.
So Don had a trailer queen.
So, yeah, that's exactly right. I turned it into a trailer queen, not wanting to turn it into, it was not the purpose. That was not why I did it. I did it because I wanted to have a really nice-looking car, but I went too far.
Yep.
And sucked way too much money into it.
But you do drive your car, drive the truck a little bit.
Well, if you drove it out here.
I do, yeah. No, I mean, I drive it. It's actually, it's great to run to Home Depot in. It
attracts a lot of attention, doesn't it?
Make the Saturday morning run. And
but aren't you afraid that somebody's going to open a door into it or something?
I've got to park pretty far out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I stay away from the shopping carts and the people that look like they're. I make it just far enough out that they're uncomfortable. They're not walking that far.
So what gave you the car bug? Was it your dad?
Let's blame him. That sounds good.
Well, because
it's always good to tell the wife
takes the pressure off of me.
Even when you were
this way.
This is heredity. I can't.
Even when you were a kid, I mean, you were exposed to all this hot rod stuff.
That's right. I've got a full head of hair and a love for cars. It's not my fault.
And we're all jealous
because
because
of it.
right?
Both
credit.
of them,
Because of everything. Now, there's a Chevrolet 5-window. You see it right there?
Yep, coming around the corner.
Yeah, that's a really...
Jeffrey, can you get that? No.
No, he's on his way out.
I think he's on his way out. But, boy, that's a nice truck right there. And there's another truck behind it. I can't tell what it looks like.
C10.
Square body, yeah.
70s C10.
Yeah. So, at any rate, you know what? I've kind of lost track of time.
So, is it still have the motor in it when you bought it at Mecum, or have you guys popped a different motor in it?
No, I went through and I put electronic fuel injection in it, so it started every time.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
But I've got it's got the same motor they had in it, which was too much, but I wasn't going to go through and change that, and it was brand new that they had just put in a year before. And so runs great. And then I decided to change the bed while we were going through and doing it, and that was kind of my own custom touch to it, where I sent a white ash wood bed kit off and had a CNC company mill an American flag pattern into it.
Oh, how cool.
And then I went through and hand stained the entire thing after going through and burning it with a torch to give it kind of some age to it.
That is really cool.
And
now, did you do all that yourself?
I did all of it myself. I couldn't find anybody to do it. I reached out to a couple of companies, and they thought, man, that's not something we do.
Yeah.
And
how long did something like that take you to put all that together?
It took me 6 weeks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes the truck extremely unique. I haven't. I'm going to wander over and take a look at it. I saw the picture you showed of it here a few seconds ago. How unique is that? What
that is very
looks
cool.
like an American flag, and I didn't realize that it was that you had hand stained it.
Right.
I just kind of figured you kind of bought a kit and installed it like that. That was totally your idea.
No.
Be a kit a lot of people would buy if you wanted to do that.
I was going to say, hopefully they don't have one, because I'd like to have the 6 weeks back if they.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me about the Toyota.
The FJ?
Yeah.
The FJ I bought, and I got a great deal at it at auction. That's for my wife if she's listening. And it's completely restored, and it's still one of the nicest ones that I've seen.
What year is it?
It's 76.
Nice.
And so, and it looks brand new. Only they did a complete nut and bolt restoration on it, so it's got all the stainless fasteners. So
yeah,
none of the paint chips or anything like that. Drives, like it did back then.
Like an FJ did back then.
Right. Apparently
you
they
can't
didn't care
say
about
it's comfortable
suspension.
right.
No.
But it's functional.
That's right.
Well, I have gotten into, and I've shared this with these guys, I've gotten into appreciation for the Japanese domestic market. And these guys, I saw a video this past week that was, I think it was on YouTube, where they all got together in downtown L.A. for some meetup. And it was kind of like a throwdown meetup in a parking garage that had one way in and one way out. There must have been 1,000 cars. 1,000 cars.
In this parking garage.
Oh, well, they tried to get in there. But because they were raising, I love that thing. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
that is really beautiful. That they were trying to get in, but the police showed up because this parking garage happened to be in a high-rise condo part of downtown L.A. Well, needless to say, thousands show up, open exhausts, and,
Loud music,
revving it up to 10,000 RPM and doing donuts in the intersection. So the police show up. I said, out, everybody going. So here you got all these cars at the top of the roof, 10-story parking garage, with one way in and one way out.
Only in L.A.
Only in L.A. But the cars were truly works of art. And these guys, these kids, most of them in their 20s, I would say, have sunk tons of money.
Well,
into
what
their
else
car.
do they have to spend money on? They probably still live at home with mom and dad and have a fairly decent
You
job.
know, there's always this one complainer in the bunch, and he just drags everything down. It's not about that. It's about these cool cars.
And they are cool
That you know
cars.
what? Because your parents probably said that about your generation when you were that age.
Oh, I bought my first car and had to buy my own tires for it and everything. I didn't get any help from mom and dad.
I didn't say. I don't know that these kids have help from mom and dad. They probably got
LA
some.
is so expensive to live.
So we're turning the car show into a lifestyle show.
You two go on. Peter and I are going to
No,
talk
it's
about
not
his
you
cars
two.
down
It's
here.
him. My other wives that I
So
bring with me every Saturday.
do you drive the FJ? Does your wife drive the FJ?
No, the FJ doesn't have air conditioning.
Okay.
So it's a
today,
winner.
today would have been a good day for it.
There are some good days for it, yes. But Houston and
But not many.
no air conditioning is not a
Yeah.
great combination.
Few days during the winter.
Four-cylinder?
It is the original four-cylinder.
And that, if I remember correctly, that original four-cylinder might not have enough power to put air conditioning on it and still drive it.
It might be worth it, though.
Oh, yeah. I would think so.
I can't get above 10 miles an hour, but it's not hot.
That's true. At least you're cool.
That's right, because, if you've ever gotten stuck in traffic and it
Oh, yeah. Not without air conditioning. I gotta
even
have
in
AC.
even in May, it's like I'd rather not run and cool me off.
Very good. Very good.
Peter, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you.
Thanks
Good
for
to see you.
stopping in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and thanks
you
for
got it.
telling us about. I had no clue. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you were into cars.
I
Well,
slowly
it makes
gotten-
sense, but I-
slowly gotten into cars, so I've got a little collection going.
It's good.
So
Good.
yeah,
Well, it's
well,
great
thanks.
to see you, and thanks so much for
Thanks
stopping
for
by.
having me.
52's back over here?
It is back over here.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Peter Holt's our guest.
Yeah.
Do I want to try this, David? Okay.
Try it.
So we're going to take a quick break here, at least attempt to.
See if
and,
it works.
Yeah, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
That didn't work. Neither does that. So apparently that doesn't work. Try it again. You want me to try that again?
Is your
Okay.
business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at texastruckworks.com.
Live from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, Texas. It's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show. Just ahead, we talk to more of the cruisers with the cool cars here. Mr. Mars got to test drive the Infiniti QX80. He'll tell you all about it. You'll also get this week's automotive news, Conrad's Car Clinic, and the stories making auto news headlines this week on the In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, November 21st, 2020. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin, and David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. And thanks to all of the cruisers out here that have come to the Tailpipes and Tacos event. We've got about an hour left of the event, and it's going to be every third Saturday of the month. So that'll put us right before Christmas.
And the weather is stunningly beautiful.
great.
It
oh
is.
my gosh,
Yes,
you couldn't ask for a better
is.
day.
So, Mr. Mars, who's our next guest?
Jeffrey, I'm going to tag that one up. Ricardo, that has this Brookwood wagon sitting right out
With
here.
the
He's
flames
the
on it.
one.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one.
He's the one. Because we were talking about you. I don't know whether you heard this or not, but a couple of hours ago when you pulled in there and you dropped it down on the ground with the air ride suspension, we thought,
Cool
ooh,
car.
cool car,
How
pretty
awesome.
cool
Thank you.
car. How long have you had that car?
I've had it for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Did
you do all the work to it?
No, actually, that car is a Boyd built car.
Is
That-
it really?
Yeah.
That is a Boyd Coddington car?
He built it for his son Gregory to go to high school in.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
So it's direct from L.A.
yeah, we came from L.A., but I got it from a buddy of mine who's had it for the past probably 20 years.
Really?
Yes.
Now, so all of that work was done by Boyd Coddington's
Yes.
shop.
Yes. It was originally all red. He sold it to Ron Kraft from Ron Kraft Chevrolet.
I know Ron.
And
Well,
he
knew
put
Ron.
he put the flames on it.
Okay.
And when I got it, had the flames on it. It was basically just like that, but I put the air suspension on it because it was too low and you couldn't really go fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, a great job. I mean, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
So unique. You
Yeah.
just never see those. Is it a 59 or 60?
It's a 59 Brookwood two-door, and it's an original two-door.
A
It's not-
59 Brookwood two-door. You know, in 59, I did not know that they made a two-door wagon.
I wasn't. I knew
know that
they
about the
Chevy
Nomad.
had made other two-door wagons, but I didn't realize that they had made a two-door wagon in the full-size body. I knew they did in the Chevelle
Yeah.
in like 65 or 66, but I didn't realize that they had done it later or earlier in the 59 genre.
Yeah.
So was it two-door only that 1 year, or do they have a couple of
No,
years? of
they
two-door?
made 4 doors, 2 doors, and they made them in 1962.
Okay.
But they were both of them considered Brookwoods. In the 55 to 57, they had it was
Nomads.
called the Nomad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did have a Nomad in 1959, but it was a 4-door. But it had all the Impala emblems on it.
Okay, so it had the upper level
Yeah.
trim of that full size
Yeah.
Chevy. And would the Brookwood would it be considered an Impala level of trim, or was it more of a Bel Air or a Biscayne level
It
of
is
trim?
the lowest.
So Biscayne level. of
Really?
trim.
Yeah. The Brookwood was the working man. They used them for
Deliveries.
post office,
Deliveries.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll be.
Yeah.
So do you know the history of that car or just from the Coddington era?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know from the Coddington area. They put it has a full Corvette suspension under it, like from a 91 Corvette.
Oh wow.
It has a LT1 from a 91 Corvette, and so it got independent front and rear suspension.
So it rides great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? Yeah, to look at the car, you wouldn't know that. I mean, if you got a chance to look at it up in the air, I haven't gone under the hood of it. But how cool is that? And quite a unique car. I'm sure it attracts lots of attention everywhere you bring it,
Yeah.
especially the closer they look and they realize the work that was done to it.
Yeah.
It just looks good. I mean, it's classic hot rod look with the flames and everything on it.
Yeah. It's a real good car to drive. I've taken it to Galveston, to Austin, and it just drives good. AC works. Everything's good.
So
on
it's
it.
a driver's car for you.
Yeah.
It's not just pure show car.
And you've owned it for how long?
About 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah.
And you do cruise-ins with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Did you show it at Autorama at any time?
It
or-
was at Autorama back in 2000, 2002, but I've never taken it up there because it's been showed too many times.
Was that when Ron owned it, or when your friend owned
yeah,
it?
when Ron owned it. And actually, Ken Caminetti used to drive that car all the time.
Ken
Baseball player.
Caminetti,
Yeah.
the baseball player.
Because he's good friends. He was good friends with the guy that owned it before I did.
Yeah.
And he drove around it all over Houston. He went
Oh.
to all the car shows, to all the Nifty 50s car shows. And stuff
Now, do
like
you
that.
live out in this
Yeah.
area in Katy?
I live towards Tomball.
More
Okay.
toward Tomball, okay.
Yeah.
So did you bring it down the Grand Parkway?
Yeah, 70
How-
all the way.
I was just going to say, how does it run?
It runs great.
Does it?
Fuel injected motor.
Fuel injected motor. What kind of transmission?
I think it's a 700 R4.
Okay.
So
So it's got an overdrive. Yeah.
makes the buzz go away.
Yeah.
And
That's sweet. So have you taken it on any long road trips?
like the furthest is Austin.
Austin? Well, Austin, San
pretty
Antonio,
long
that'd
trip,
be
yeah.
first two cities that come to my mind.
Yeah, but the guy who had it before I did, he drove it to Dallas, and he went to all the car shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he is got tired of it.
Well, so do you have any other plans for it? I mean, clearly you've bagged it. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done some work yourself to it.
My deal is to put it back the way Boyd had it, red with all the chrome on it, and redo the inside, just make it all new again. But we got to remember, this car was built for his son to drive to high school.
Oh, so and it's not been changed since then.
It hasn't. It still has the original wiring from a '59.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Does that cause you any problems?
so far, I haven't yet. When I first got it, I had to do a little bit of wiring, but after that, everything worked great.
Well, back in those days, the wiring was simple.
yeah.
I mean, power ground. I need electricity to the alternator. I need electricity to the starter and the coil, and
Yeah.
that's about all it took.
Yeah.
And then to adapt it to put the LT under it, that took a lot of effort to do that. But what a cool car! So when you raise it up, it'll get up there pretty high. How much of a lift can you get in it?
I think in the back I get about 6 inches, in the front about 5.
And that's just to make it more drivable going down the highway,
Yeah.
as opposed to scraping everything as you go by.
So when you bought the kit,
Yeah.
the bags, did you buy it for the Corvette suspension?
Yes, I did. That's
Oh.
one thing I had to figure out because, and even though I bought the kit for the suspension, for the Corvette, I still had to modify it a little bit to fit the '59, because
To fit the body.
yeah, but it basically everything bolted on. Well, the first time I took it out, I popped the airbag because I didn't clearance it out
Scratch
enough.
something?
Yeah, but
Which is not uncommon.
yeah. Then
you
the
know.
second time, after I started driving it, I never had a problem with it anymore.
That is
Wow.
really cool.
Yeah.
Because I know the function of how they work and that sort of stuff, but I've never really talked to anybody about the installation and how difficult it was. And so you've brought up something that I never even thought about, because if they made it for the suspension,
Yeah.
you would think that it would just pop it in there and it'd be fine. Well, popping has a different tone when it starts rubbing up against something.
Yeah.
Was it rubbing up the chassis or something?
It was actually on the front because they used to have a leaf spring. There was a bracket that held the leaf spring in place, and the bag just rubbed up against it.
That
and
bracket.
Yeah,
So
it
what
doesn't
you do?
take very much.
Yeah, I just
Cut
cut it off a little bit, and
Right.
we were good to go.
Gotcha.
But it's been a good car. So.
How long did it take you to put that kit on there?
About 2 days.
That's
Oh, that's
all?
not
bad.
So a weekend.
Yeah.
See, I thought it'd been much more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was all bolt-on. Now, if I had to build it, it'd probably cost me, take me a little bit longer.
Right.
But it was all bolt-on. You just took off the old stuff and put this on there. That's
Wow.
it.
Easy.
The-
Plug and play.
Yeah, the hardest thing was to run. If you did plastic lines, it would have been perfect. It would have been easy, but I put copper lines for durability.
Yeah.
And
Because you didn't want to be driving to Austin and lose a line along the way.
then you'd be all the way down.
So, I mean, then you have to bend a lot of copper.
Yeah, but copper bends pretty easy.
And copper bends pretty true.
Yeah.
It's a soft enough metal where it doesn't kink.
Yes.
If you use the correct bending stuff, where it won't damage it. And copper is going to be pretty corrosive free over a long term, where some of the other stuff you might use could build some corrosion up inside of it.
But that's a huge decision to make, to go from.
Well, it's a lot of copper line. That
thing-
car is long.
What is it, 20
Yeah.
feet long?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like 20 feet long.
Yeah.
Well, so you said that you're going to redo the interior.
Yeah.
And just put it back the way that originally was when Coddington did
Yeah.
it originally?
Yeah, well, the way it is now is just worn out.
Of course.
It's been. It
Just
was,
needs to be updated.
Yeah, it was done in '95, so it just needs to be cleaned up, redo the carpet, redo the seats, and I want to repaint it all red again.
So
The
get rid of
interior?
the flames.
Yeah.
And get rid of the flames.
Yeah, get rid of the flames.
So, do you have some pictures of it when Coddington owned it?
Actually, it came out in I think the '97 catalog of the wheels. It was
Of Coddington
it was on the
wheels?
front catalog.
Okay, so you do have a good representation of what it should look like.
Yeah.
Well, you said you also want to put the trim back on it, the chrome trim.
Yeah.
All of that was taken off by.
Ron Kraft when they got
Was it
painted.
chrome or was it stainless?
It's stainless or chrome. It's polished stainless, I guess.
But just the factory trim.
Yeah. and just to make it look like it's supposed to.
Yeah, Ron Kraft had a unique collection of cars through the years, and I didn't realize that was one of Ron's cars. He was, I called on him. He was actually an Oldsmobile dealer for a period of time.
Yeah.
And when I worked for Oldsmobile back when they were off of Garth Road.
Yeah.
And Ron, not only a big collection of cars, he was quite the motorcycle guy as well. Had a real good collection of motorcycles too. Interesting that that's the next Ron Kraft car.
And he's the one that named it the Sweat Wagon, because on the inside the engine cover it says Sweat Wagon, because when you first got it, it had no AC.
Oh, good Lord.
And
In Houston, Texas, I cannot imagine such a thing.
No.
so he went on I guess they call it the Power Tour back in
Yeah.
I guess 97.
With that
99.
car.
With that car, but
Right.
he said he went halfway through it and stopped. He said it's too hot. So the next year he had AC in it, and that's why they named it the Sweat Wagon.
I was going to say that big a car, it's like an easy bake oven inside of there. I don't think you can stop from sweating.
Yeah, and
So does it have vintage air in it?
yeah.
Vintage air, yeah.
Yeah. And it works pretty good, but if you're sitting in the back seat and it's hot outside,
Yeah, no.
Don't have anything ducted to the back, huh?
Yeah.
You'd have to have one of those rooftop air conditionings to supplement it back in the
Yeah.
back 40 back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that thing is
Look
now,
like
does
a
it have-
motorhome.
Yeah. Does it have the back seat in it?
It has the second seat, but not the third back. The
Does
third
it have the third?
Did the Parkwood come with the third row?
some of them did, some didn't.
Oh,
I don't-
was it?
I
So it
don't-
was an option?
Yeah, I don't know if this one came with it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you said this was
A Brookwood.
Brookwood,
I
not the
keep saying
Parkwood.
Parkwood,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So the Parkwood may have, because that was more of a family vehicle, but this is more of a
Working.
Set down
working
deliver- yeah.
vehicle. So I
So
bet
you
it
could
didn't
probably
have,
retrofit one in there because I just like
Yeah,
the,
I would think so.
I like the fact that the back seat facing backwards and
Yeah.
and,
And Don back there doing this to the truckers.
no, I'd be something else, a lot different than that. You know me.
Never mind.
Yes, my family's here. My wife and my two daughters are here, and my other daughter, she's in Hawaii right now.
Did you all come in the in the?
Yeah, in the 59.
Lucky girl.
Yeah. Well, she's based over there in the Army.
Oh,
well,
she's in the Army.
Very nice.
thank
Well,
her for her service. We
What
appreciate
a
it.
great vehicle, man. We all went, wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all of the cars here are cool.
And there's some real nice cars out there.
There really are. Is this your first time at this
yes,
show?
the first time at
Is-
this one.
So how'd you find out about this? Through the In Wheel Time show?
Actually,
Yes.
yeah,
Say yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I went and worked on what we call it, the owner's car yesterday on his Bentley. He had a little spot on the seat, and he told me about it, so I decided to come up here.
So you do trim work.
Yes.
Okay.
I do paintless dent repair and interior repair.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, leave us a card.
Okay, I'll leave you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Actually, I don't have any.
you can fix little nicks and seats and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh well, good. I need your card. I get myself out of trouble with Angela.
Yeah.
Angie's Mercedes has got a weird little spot in the seat that kind of looks like somebody cut it with something in their back pocket. It wasn't me because I don't drive.
You're
her
such
car.
a liar. You are such a liar. We know that it was you.
Nope, wasn't me.
See, there he goes.
No, it really
no,
wasn't.
it was you. We
No,
know it
I'm
was.
not allowed to drive her car. But yeah, we'll get some information from you because I might make use of you.
All right.
The trim work is a talent because for me the talent of trim work, because I have 10 thumbs, is getting the trim apart without breaking a tab or breaking a clip. And some of that's just understanding how the stuff disconnects underneath. Once I take it off the first time, I understand how it comes off, but sometimes that first time taking it off, you might have to replace one or two of them. Or
Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
So will you do your own trim work on that, or will you?
I probably will do the seats. There's only one person that makes the seats that actually has the original material, and that's over there in New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
I forgot the name of the upholstery shop, but
Are you serious?
yeah, because you can't find the material, and they have it. The original material with the cloth has like 3 tones of red in it,
Yes.
and you can't find that anywhere. I've tried looking everywhere.
Oh, how cool!
So these guys, they do it. They gave me a quote on it, and I'm just they're 6 months behind. So they said you could put down payment now, and in 6 months we'll call you and tell you to bring your car.
So you bring them the car. You don't
or-
just.
So they actually do the
Yeah,
install.
or they can, or you got to send them the door panels because the door panels have a metal trim on top, and they got to reuse that. But actually, on the seats, they'll send you the seats, and we could recover them, or you could
Okay.
send them the car.
Okay.
I think
So,
I'd rather
so if I was like Conrad, all thumbs, and didn't want to try and do the seat, I could
Let them do
send
it.
to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But I think I could probably do it. But I want to wait until I redo it. I want to take it off, frame off, redo the bottom, paint it all nice.
Well, and being an original Coddington car, there's value in that association as well.
Yes.
In the car, so to bring it back to what he had built will be pretty neat.
Yeah, I've had plenty of offers on the car, but it ain't been there yet.
Yeah. I was gonna say that would be. Cause what are you gonna replace it with?
Nothing.
A house?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but you know.
Beautiful.
No, they haven't driven it yet.
No, because you don't let them drive.
I don't let them drive it.
It's not one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
This looks like one of them right here.
Yeah.
Two of them.
Oh, that's my wife and one of them. My daughter.
Oh, I see. So, all right. Well, hey, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for stopping
All right,
by.
thank you.
Love learning about your car and everything, and
It's really cool.
hopefully we'll see you again out here.
Yeah,
And
I should-
congratulations on having a Coddington original.
Yeah.
You know,
I-
that's pretty rare unto itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy with it.
Thank you. We'll hope
All
to
right.
talk to you again
All
soon. Hey, we're out here at the Tailpipes and Tacos, a cruise-in on this Saturday at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy on the Grand Parkway, just south of I-10, the Katy Freeway. Just want to make sure that we get that straight. At any rate, so it's time now for our
7:03.
So it's time now for our car review. Mr. Mars has the Infiniti QX80 to
Well,
talk about.
I have to apologize because I didn't come
Don't
prepared
tell me-
for the QX80.
But wait a minute, it's on this sheet of paper here. It says
I
QX80.
I
Well,
wouldn't
he-
deny
but he's-
that,
But he switched to the Cherokee Latitude.
But I looked at my calendar, and apparently
And
I
so you
was
and you
looked
so you,
at the
you
wrong
looked
line.
at the calendar, and then you didn't tell me that that's what you were going to go with.
Well, no, I thought I wrote that down.
No. You got to remember, he's a Jimmy Buffett fan. So it's changes in attitude and changes to latitude.
Yeah, the latitude is the wrong line in the calendar. I got the QX80 down for next week, and I don't have the review with me on it, so I'm going to have to do the Cherokee.
Do we have pictures of the Cherokee?
Yes, sir, we do.
Oh, well,
I was all prepped for the Cherokee. I'm just not sure.
Where the latitude,
Where,
where
yeah.
Don came from.
Well, no, I probably sent
No,
it to him. I don't have that in front of me.
This is
It
Mars'
says Cherokee
sheet.
Latitude.
It does not. It says, you know that it says right here, Infiniti
Cherokee
QX80.
Latitude. I'll look at
Such
mine.
a liar. All right.
I'll look at it later. I
Please
don't have
go
time
ahead
to
and
look
do
at
the
it now. I
damned
need to talk
interview.
about the Jeep Cherokee, the 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Lux model 4x4.
Don's throwing out all the show notes.
Well, why start following them now? So, what we're talking about here is a compact crossover SUV. Now, it's kind of moved, as it started moving into, when you look at the other vehicles in the category of the compact crossover SUV, you're going to find that the Jeep models tend to lean more towards the SUV than the CUV. So, what that means is with all the off-road capabilities that the Jeep has built into it, it makes it a lot of different changes in it. But you can get this particular one in a Latitude, which is the entry level, or Latitude Plus, Latitude Lux, which is what we had, or you can get it in a Limited, and you can get a Trailhawk, which is the off-road model. Now, this is for the serious off-road from the factory type stuff. All of them are 5-passenger vehicles. You're going to find on the outside of them the traditional 7-slot grill, LED headlights that have got a slim design that kind of flows back into the body lines. Got a power lift gate, dual panel sunroof, so that when you're out and about in the wild, you can have lots of sunshine coming in. And it rolls on some 17x7 satin aluminum wheels. Makes it a little bit different look to it. Now, you get to the interior of it. We got the leather trimmed seats because this is on the upper end of the model line. The front seats are heated. We had the optional 8-inch display for the Uconnect, where you're going to find your Apple, you're going to find your Android CarPlay, all your air conditioning controls, all your controls there. And one thing I found out rather interesting, it's got a humidity sensor in it, built into the inside of this vehicle. I never did find it, but there's a humidity sensor built into it.
I guess it turns the AC on to draw some of the humidity out.
Could be.
Interesting.
And we also had the premium Alpine audio stereo system. So it had some really nice sounds to it. Again, we're talking about a Jeep here that you can go off-roading in, and you'll have some cool sounds. You got 25.8 cubic feet in behind the seat for cargo, which is a little bit smaller in that category. But what it does is they've increased the passenger space, kind of cut into that a little bit. Now, up under the hood, you got a choice of 3 engines, and one of them includes a turbo. And we happen to have the 3.2-liter V6, 271 horsepower, 239 pound-feet of torque, up at 4,400 RPM. So you got to wind it up a little bit, but it came with a 9-speed automatic transmission.
So that should be sufficient, though. That should
it is.
feel pretty peppy, actually.
It'll run pretty good, but you got to remember that this is a heavier vehicle than most of them because of all the transfer cases and all the suspension for the off-road trail rated. And it will tow 4,500 pounds. So it's got some suspension to go along with all the engine and everything. EPA says you should be looking for about 19 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway, combined 22. Now, I actually got closer to 20 on the week that I had it. And because, again, the power level is pretty good on it. It's a little bit heavier vehicle than most of them in that category, but it is quite responsive. And it'll give you plenty of power when you're in the off-road world. Because it is heavier, it does ride nicer out on the highway than what a lot of them will do. So, but, again, this is more SUV than CUV because of the Jeep components. If you're looking for comparable vehicles, you might look at a Honda CR-V that's based out at $25,350. Toyota RAV4 is going to be in that $26,250 category. And the Subaru Forester starts at $24,795. Now, you can get a base Jeep Latitude for $26,310. Now, our base test vehicle was $31,625, and our MSRP as tested is $36,355 for a compact crossover that is trail rated to go off-roading in.
Thank you very much. Time now for our events calendar, and Conrad's got that.
Well, of course, the event to be to is where we're at
well,
right now.
It's got 30 minutes left.
And it's
we're going to do this again next month, the 3rd Saturday of the month.
Okay. So is that?
And so the first Saturday of the month, we've got Chrome and Coffee at the
Sharpstown.
at the Sharpstown Golf Club, and that's Craig's Chrome and Coffee. That's the first Saturday.
The 3rd Saturday is.
I'm sorry. That's the first Sunday.
Yeah,
right.
Sunday.
That's the first Sunday of the month, and this event, Tailpipes and Tacos, is the 3rd Saturday.
Okay. So tonight at Freddy's Steakburger is the monthly cruise-in Magnolia. Tomorrow is the One More Gear Rise and Race out at Houston Raceway Park. Should be a pretty good event. It's more test and tune with your track, to get some runs down the track, but they're also going to have a car show component to it as well. SCCA is running tomorrow at Track Sprint up in New Caney, and then Speed Sports is going to be in New Caney as well at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sunday at 10 a.m. is the annual Toys for Tots Toy Drive and EV Car Meet at the Greatland Living, which is north of Bel Air, right off of Beltway 8. Sunday night is going to be Freddy's Steak Burgers at 1960 in Eldridge. And then Wednesday night is going to be Freddy's Steak Burger in Katy. And Friday night is Freddy's Steak Burger at Kirkendall in 2920. And then Saturday, December the 5th, is going to be Houston Performance Driving Twin Peaks meet.
Twin Peeps.
Twin Peeps.
It's Twin Peeps. I like Twin Peaks.
Up in Shenandoah.
Donuts.
I got way too much on my mind.
You've had some tequila before you came on here, didn't you?
I should have.
No, you did.
But that'll be the big toy drive.
You do
up
shots?
There. Not this morning.
Do you do shots?
Not this morning.
I know that not this morning, but do you do shots?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. I was just a little.
Back in the day, my drink of choice was Cuervo Gold on the rocks in a tall glass.
Oh my! I don't think I could do that. It's kind of like drinking moonshine.
Well, tequila is not an alcohol; it's a drug. It makes you do stupid things.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But I digress. So that's most of what's going on. There's some other stuff coming on. Exotics on Market Street in January, and the Lone Star Rod and Custom Show in Austin. That's going to be in April. Lone Star Throwdown, I believe. Has Lonnie and have they talked about what's going to go on this year?
I've not heard.
It's hard to get a hold of them boys. They're out at so many shows right now.
Well, they were watching us earlier.
There are no shows.
Lonnie and Todd, if you're what's your plan? I know February has been your plan through the years. We're not real sure where everybody stands right now with what's going on with all of the virus issues. So, but lots of stuff going on. There's always stuff to, always
All
car
right.
stuff to
We've
do.
got more of the In Wheel Time Car Show from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In out at the Lupe, Tortilla, and Katy, and we're going to do that right after this.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? You found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at texastruckworks.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Show, the award-winning weekly go-to all things automotive place. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin, David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong, coming to you from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, Texas. Thanks for joining us today. We're so glad that you could ride along. We got about a 30-minute window here to squeeze in some more guests. Mr. Mars, who do we have over in the hot seat right now?
Well, you've been looking at this 67 Impala sitting right out here, the fastback model, which is kind of unusual. Now, that is owned by Mr. Gary Bartlett, who's joining us now.
I absolutely love that car.
I'm telling you.
Gordy,
Seriously. Yeah. And I mean, I never, ever see that car.
No, you don't.
You
It's
don't
real
see
unusual.
67 fastback Impalas.
You don't. I looked for probably a year and a half before I found them.
Where did you find it?
Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Natchitoches, Louisiana. Was it a Louisiana car originally?
No, it's an Arizona car originally.
Yeah?
And
do you have the history on the car? Parts of it? Pieces of it? None of it?
I have pieces of it.
Yeah.
You know, I bought it. It was a original numbers matching car, SS 396 Turbo 400, 12-bolt car. I found it on eBay, and it didn't reach reserve, and I got a hold of the owner, and like a lot of guys do, to get
Right,
out.
sure.
And
Worked out a deal?
well, I got within $500, and he said, "Why don't you just come see the damn car?"
He's going
He
to
said,
puppy
he
dog
said if you
close
don't think it's worth the other $500, he said, I'll pay for your gas to go back home.
Well, that's
So
fair enough.
I drove from Sugar Land to Natchitoches.
with a
and,
trailer.
No,
Oh, no?
running
No.
driving car.
Oh, you're going to plan on driving it home?
I brought a mechanic with me, and a friend of mine was a mechanic, and he went all over the car, and he said, you know, this is a rust-free, solid car.
Has it got the original frame and everything?
Yeah, well, they got tubular suspension and four-wheel discs now, and you know some other
Right,
things.
you've upgraded it, but it's
Yeah,
still...
yeah, it's got the original 12-bolt rear end, and you
That
know,
is so cool.
You know, I looked at the car. He said, take it down the road. Gas tank is full. So down the road I went. I drove about 10 miles, brought it back, gave him his money.
$500 an hour, huh?
Yeah, I said, yeah. And then I hopped in it, turned the air on, and drove it home.
Back to Sugar Land.
Back to Sugar
From
Land.
Natchitoches.
Yeah,
How long ago was that?
2001.
Oh, really?
so
So
you've
you've
had
had
it
it
a long
20
time.
years.
I've had it 19 years, yeah, almost 20
That
years.
is. What about the motor? Is it the original motor in it?
No.
You put an
drove
LS in it.
I drove it stock. It was a low mileage car. It was a 68,000 mile car when I bought it for $7,500.
Oh,
Be-
that's a steal.
best deal I've ever had.
So
No kidding.
for a numbers matching SS, yes.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I drove it stock until late 2010, and then converted to LS. It's got an LS6 circa Corvette 2004.
Right.
Put it in with a 6-speed, and I drove it with a 6-speed until I don't know, 5 months ago, I guess. It was either put an automatic back in it or get my knee fixed. So
You put the automatic in it.
yeah, but I wish I'd got my knee fixed. It'd been a hell of a lot cheaper.
Still,
and easier.
and your knee's still bothering you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he's still bothering me.
So do you drive it often?
Yeah, in 2011, right after the motor went in and everything was running,
Right.
I took it on the power tour.
Oh, you did. How was the power tour?
I started in Cocoa Beach, so it was a long way to drive from
get
here
started.
to there,
To get
Right.
started.
and then on up to all the way up to Detroit and then back. It was 4,400 miles.
Whoa.
I got almost 23 miles to gallon. You know?
Did you?
Yeah, it's a
Was
beautiful
that
drive.
was still with the 6-speed, though.
Yeah.
How
I missed the
cool
other
is
2
it?
gears. Huh? No
4,400
breakdowns.
miles, no problem.
No, absolutely none.
Well, why would it have? Why? It wouldn't have a breakdown. It's all new.
Oh, it's an old car. They all have breakdowns.
Yeah.
Now, when you
And
bought
a lot of people on Power Tour understand that and bring lots of spare parts and
yeah.
tools to help people along the way.
Yeah,
does it still have the 52-year-old wiring in it?
Partially. You know, it's been upgraded some for the
When
for
you
the,
did the
for the
conversion.
for the LS
Right.
stuff, right?
Right.
But yeah, I still got the original fuse block under the dash.
Still the same interior?
Yeah, same interior, same color. I mean, it's all original colors.
Oh, wow.
Really? So it was white with a blue interior?
Yeah.
Ah, I love it. Of all, don't tell anybody, but of all the cars that are here, I really like that car a lot. A lot.
Hey, we got something in common.
Yeah, we do. Apparently. And you live in Sugar Land?
Actually, I live in Richmond now.
Okay. You moved out of the, out of the
I went
city.
further out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
About 3 miles from where I lived before.
Gotcha.
He's on the way to Needville.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Going the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's the wrong
Yeah,
direction.
you gotta go the other
no,
way.
No.
Yeah. But, I truly appreciate the car.
That is.
Now it does not
awesome.
have the stock wheels on it.
No, they're Foose wheels.
Foose wheels.
It's got vintage air.
Yeah.
It was an original AC car,
Was it?
but to clean up underneath the hood, and I went to vintage air.
Yeah.
I kept everything. I kept the motor and the transmission and all the.
So you've still got all that stuff.
No, I finally, after about 10 years, I sold it. You know, or 8 years. Sold it 3 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm never going to put it back.
Yeah, and it's going to be your forever car anyhow.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how long that's going to be. I'm 79, so.
Oh, my God.
Are you really? Yeah. Man, you look good
But you
for
got all,
79.
but you've got all the factory look to it. Like you say, you went to vintage air, but since it was an air conditioned car, you could keep the vents, you could keep all the dash material looking original.
But you know what? I have to compliment you on this. I'm typically not one of those oversized wheel kind of guys, but that really does look good.
They're
Yeah.
17s. They're not that big.
well, I can't see it because Jeff's
Yeah.
standing in the way, but that's beside the point.
There's 17s, yeah, but they're clearly bigger than the stock tires.
Than the
that were-
14s that
yeah,
came from the
14s that
factory,
were-
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But they look good.
And the other thing is that it's so clean. I mean, there's
Well,
no
part
bu-
of what makes it clean is the hard top. There's no post.
Well,
Well,
there's that, but I was talking
it-
about the trim in particular. I mean, there's no door edge guards on it. There's not the other stuff that's hung on it. It's just clean. It's got the engine badge up on the front, and it just
Got the SS on the
Well,
back.
and it's really got a different look because of the fastback. If you look at the window, he's got both the windows down on the side that we can see. And the way that the lines on it flow together there, that you
really
don't
cleans
see
it up.
that unless you were looking at the fastback car.
well, there weren't that many of those
Well,
back.
here's another SS, but it's a 65,
Right, but that's-
60, yeah,
That's a 5,
65.
yeah, 65.
It wasn't. There weren't that many built. If
No.
I remember correctly, back in the day, there weren't that many two-doors because when you went to the big-bodied cars like the Impala, most people got the four-door.
Right, family.
There's
Am I wrong? Am I right?
there were a lot of 2-doors. Then there were a lot of SS 396s. That was the. If it had been a SS 427, I wouldn't have touched it, right?
Right.
Because they were rare, very rare. 396s.
A little more
So
popular.
they
Yeah.
offered 427s
They did.
with this 396 as well.
It was a 427 385 horse, and you could get it in an automatic or a 4-speed. But they didn't make very many of them.
Was the automatic power glide, or would it have been a 3-speed?
It would have been a 3-speed. It'd have been a turbo 400.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think so.
But they're
67,
very,
yeah.
They're very rare. It's hard to believe, I guess. Looking, if you put a 65, 66, and a 67 side by side, they're exactly the same length. but the roof profile is what
That's
makes it look longer.
I was just going to say that is what makes that car. That and that right rear, the rear fenders on it. The way that it's all blended in to the fastback.
It's got a little more of a rise to it than that 65 that just rolled by.
Just absolutely gorgeous. It's a stunning car. And I'm sure that you probably get lots of compliments on it wherever you take it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of places I get compliments, and then I get people saying, "Why did you ruin the originality?" Well, because I could. It's my car.
Yeah.
It's your. That's
My
right.
God, it's my car.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, and, as
Think of all the money you've saved not pouring gas into that 396.
Well,
yeah, it's gone into other
I don't
things
worry.
though.
Gas is pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But there are. I've changed my opinion. I used to be an LS change-out resto mod hater, but I've grown to appreciate them. And like you said, it's your car. You can do whatever you want with it.
Plus, it's the simplicity of it. Now it's key up, fire up, and it runs.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
go pump it and worry about flooding it and going to a flood start. Yeah, it's
This guy here was the one that told me, because I've always been a '69 Camaro. It's my dream car that I'll never have. But I always wanted it original. I want the 302 in it. I want the 4-speed in it. And, I tried to say carbureted. And he said, no reason to do that. And so I thought,
Not if you're going to drive it.
They've now got the fuel injection system that looks like a carburetor. You put an air cleaner on it, you can't tell the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have one of those. I have a '78 Malibu wagon with a mild 350 in it and the Phytech fuel injection.
Yeah.
And it drives wonderfully.
And you don't have to worry about, the choke sticking or the float sticking or some sort of fuel problem with it.
The fuel today with an old school carburetor, you're always going to have
issues.
Always going to have issues unless you drive them all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's a new world, and
so you have a station wagon too. You were holding back on us and didn't tell us that.
Well, I can only drive one at a time.
Well, I know, but
so how many miles have you put on this since you bought it? Since it sounds like you're not.
Well, we know
afraid to put miles
4,400 for sure.
Probably 30,000.
Have you really?
Maybe a little more than that.
So you truly do enjoy.
That's
the
8,000 or
car.
10,000 miles a year. That's pretty good.
That's the driver. No, it's
No,
not.
he's had it for 19 years.
Let me get my shoes off and recalculate.
Hey, use my fingers.
Yeah.
No.
Now, do you do a lot of the work yourself on these?
I used to.
Yeah.
Then I aged out, but and I actually have a little more money now to play with than I had back then. So,
right.
So things I would have done myself before, I now pay for.
So do you go to a shop? Do you have a particular person that you go to for?
There's
different folks.
Yeah, there's a shop in Rosenberg that I use as a restoration place that does. They do a little bit of everything.
It's not the one on Highway 36, is it?
It is. It's South Coast Rides.
Yes, I know exactly where that is.
I've been using them for 15 years plus.
Yep.
I mean, they're.
Well, once you
They're
find
great.
a place you can trust and they do quality work, it's easy to go back and recommend them to other people. But you don't want to recommend them to too many people because then they get too busy.
Yeah. But if you recommend them enough times, they'll get you in.
So let me ask you this: do you know a friend of ours by the name of Bill Seitz?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, I've got a one of his
Pieces of
artwork on that particular vehicle.
Yeah, yeah.
I do too. My Rally
That's-
350
it's a
isn't
big
here,
one.
but
Yeah. Bill's a good guy.
Yeah.
hell of an artist.
And
Yeah,
Bill
he
lives
is.
out there in Richmond now.
He's actually in the same place I am. I'm in the Del Webb
Yeah.
Yeah.
old folks home. I mean,
Yeah.
over 55 community.
Yes. Well, we actually did a broadcast out there. I guess
The
it was
Oldsmobile Club had their car show there at the
community
Clubhouse.
center.
At
Community
the
center,
lake
yeah.
house, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
That was a real nice show too.
yeah, that's a beautiful neighborhood out there.
Yeah, it is. It's my wife passed away last year, so I needed a change. I needed to downsize, and I needed a change. But I'm gonna have to get a couple little dogs, so I'll be
keep
able
you
to-
occupied.
Well, with my neighbors, right? That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So Do you have any other cars other than the station wagon and this one?
I have one other. I've got a 71 GMC Sprint that I with 50,
well, you go for the
57
odd ducks, don't you?
57,000 original miles.
Oh my God!
Fully documented. All the way from the GM to dealership invoice.
Did you buy it new, or you just got the
but it still had the dealership name on the title when I bought it.
Oh wow! So what motor's
close
in that?
enough?
That's a 352 barrel with a turbo 350.
A
And
lot of people don't know what a GMC Sprint is. It was GMC's version of the El Camino.
yeah, it came out in '71.
It was a good-looking car.
Yeah, and it looks. It actually is in pretty nice shape. You know, it's rust-free. The history on it is there was a dealership in Chickasha, Oklahoma, called
Ralph and Sons.
Ralph and Sons.
I called on them
Yeah.
as an they had an Oldsmobile franchise as well. I
That's
called on them in the '80s. Ralph and Sons. How?
I bought that vehicle from Ralph's son.
Oh gosh! Now
That is so
I'm
cool.
gonna pull his name out of my head.
You
here.
know, we're going to come and hang out with you. You don't mind, do you?
I don't mind.
Okay. So, yes, we definitely need to stay in touch with you. You know that we do this show every Saturday, and we do it out of Sugar Land, so you're right down the street, so
I
to
am.
speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I live
That
by
far.
by the sugar factory.
On
So
a big map, yeah.
yeah. So well, it's great to know you, and to meet you, and hopefully we'll get a chance to chat some more. Maybe we just have one of those throw down little get-togethers where we have
Do some shots.
do some shots. Yes, we'll do some shots. I can get my buddy. Are you a Houstonian?
No.
Not originally.
Not originally.
Yeah.
I'm from Rochester, New York. If you want to go back far.
Oh my God,
But
this
I-
guy.
Westchester County, New York.
Yeah.
So you were outstate. I was suburbs of the city.
Yeah. I'm up on Lake Ontario. between
Kodak country.
Kodak. Eastman Kodak. Xerox. You know.
So
Bouncing
before you retired, what did you do?
Little as I could get away with and still get paid a lot of money.
You're clearly a car guy because we know that whole genre. Yes.
Yeah, I worked for. I originally started out after I got out of the armed forces, out of the Air Force, in early '64. There was a guy that I was in the service with when I was based in England, and he got out a little early because his father had a heart attack. But long story short, his father had a bar in Cheneyville, Louisiana, the only bar in Cheneyville.
Okay.
And he said, "Come on down when you get out, we'll get drunk." So, sounded all right to me. So
Yes.
when I got to McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey, I sent my Foot Locker with all my stuff I wasn't going to
On
need
to
anymore,
Louisiana.
and sent it up to New York to my dad's place. And I got on a plane and flew to New Orleans and caught a bus to Cheneyville.
Yeah.
So I showed up, and timing was perfect, right? The town had voted itself dry, and the bar was just inside the town limits. So
Timing. It's all in the timing.
It's all in the timing. So we drank the stock,
Yeah.
Got to do something with it.
and then drove to Berwick, Louisiana. Well, I actually drove to Morgan City and looking for a job,
Yeah.
and found a job working offshore for a company named Geophysical Service Incorporated, which was originally the parent company for Texas Instruments.
Oh wow.
So I worked for them all over the world.
Yeah.
I worked for them and the company that they sold, that TI sold the seismic company to, for 29 and a half years. And then I retired and went in business for myself, and then that was too much work. So I got back in the geophysical
So you're
exploration business.
you're an oil guy.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's good. Houston, Texas, oil. We
Works
get it.
well.
Yeah,
Fits.
yeah.
So I started that at 23, and I retired from that stuff 3 times at 72.
Very nice.
And he's got a passion for fun cars.
I do that. I've had a lot of them.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Congratulations, beautiful car, beautiful collection of cars. And we're gonna meet up. We're gonna meet up again soon. Okay.
I hope so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Elroy.
stopping by. So we're going to do a little side bet here,
The son was Elroy.
so to speak. So they've had a raffle ticket thing here for $5. Goes to charity, and so these numbers that I'm going to read. There's 2 of them, and so they're each good for $100 Lupe Tortilla gift card. Okay, and so here's the first number.
Thank you.
Read it
048
slowly so everybody's involved.
048 217. 048 217 is the first one. Hold that over there so I don't put it back in here. And then the second number is going to be, oh my God, 048 216. 217 right here. There you go. There you go. Yes. And so the other one is 048 216.
So who's got? Here we go.
There's your
We
other
got
one,
a
sir.
Winner, Lupe Tortilla dinner.
There you go. $100 gift certificate. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you guys. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yep. So we invite you to mark it on your calendar for the 3rd Saturday in December for the Tailpipes and Tacos event. And that is going to be on my birthday, December 19th. So it's going to be a birthday celebration.
Your birthday is December 19th?
It is.
Oh, that is just too weird.
Why?
So's mine.
Are you kidding me?
No, I was honest engine, December 19th. Except my birthday was in
Shut up.
1957. Don's was in what?
47.
31?
1931, yeah. Thank you very much for that. So we both have the same birthday.
That's why we're so weird.
Y-
It explains it all.
It does
Explains
explain
a
it all.
lot.
You know, you're only the 3rd person that I've known that we shared a birthday. So,
And the other one
There's
you
that.
married.
yeah, myself. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Mars, who do we have?
This is for Conrad.
Oh, it must be an Oldsmobile.
Carrie Bonner, don't read ahead. Carrie Bonner is joining us now, and Carrie has a 442. But I'm going to let you explain that.
Yeah, it's a 1970 Olds 442 W30,
Okay.
and it's been fully restored. It's Sherwood green with the black stripes and black vinyl interior. And
Did you do the restoration yourself?
no, I bought it restored.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best in the country. It's won some prestigious awards. It scored 993 out of 1,000 points
Whoa.
at the 2010 Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and it scored 999 out of 1,000 at the 2012 Olds Nationals.
That's the extremely well done car.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of unique. It's kind of what I was looking for. Probably what I might have ordered had I ordered one in the day. It's a 4-speed car and has a radio delete, no air conditioning, of course.
so this is ordered for a track car.
Yeah, evidently whoever ordered it.
Dog
must have-
dishes,
Huh?
dog dish wheels, or
Dog,
you got the
yes, dog dish hubcaps with painted steel wheels.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty unique car, I think, in terms of its originality. It's got a matching numbers engine, original M21 4-speed,
close ratio,
uh,
21 spline.
and it's got a 391 Olds positive traction rear end.
It makes it buzz going
so,
down
yeah,
the
it's-
highway.
That's the performance axle that was popular in the day. The more standard axle was a more road
340.
Right.
340 something.
Did you seek this car out?
No, I just happened to come upon. I mean, I kind of had a list of cars in my mind that I would love to own. I actually also own a 1970 Chevelle, which is, the same type body,
Right.
kind of
A-body.
another GM body car in 1970. and it's a SS 454 LS6.
Oh, it is a true LS6.
Yeah,
You
which
got
was-
the monster of the muscle cars between
Yeah.
the W30 and the LS6.
It's a beautiful restoration too. It's black with black interior, 4-speed bench seat. But anyway, I won't get too far astray from the olds that we're talking about now. As you probably know, or a lot of your viewers might know, the 442 W30 was kind of a special version of the Performance 442, which was in turn originated kind of as a special performance cutlass.
Right.
But I think it became its own style. At some
Yeah,
point.
it actually had its own VIN
Yeah.
tag for 442, and then it
Yeah.
went back to an option.
So the W30 cars came with a special cam that the standard 442 didn't have, and special F code heads, and a special Rochester carb sitting atop a aluminum intake.
made for it.
Yeah, with what they called free flow exhaust. Again, not headers, but evidently designed to flow a little bit better than the standard 455.
Orange inner fender panels, which
Yeah.
was the telltale.
Yeah, that's the distinctive thing that people notice if you lift the hood or you look inside the wheel wells from the outside. It's got red inner fender liners, so makes the W30s stand out a little bit from the crowd, aside from the
does
single
the
badge.
So does the rumble.
Yeah, it does.
They've got a bit of a cam lope to that 455 cubic inch engine.
It does. It has a nice sound to it. In fact, sometimes I think it sounds better just loping along at idle than it does when you're, at
Into it.
2,000 RPM.
Right.
Because it's got fairly quiet mufflers, so I haven't elected to make it louder on purpose.
Well, and the other thing about it is the 4-speed cars, you couldn't get air conditioning on because
True.
it didn't pull, and you couldn't get, now, if I'm correct, you couldn't get power brakes on it.
It's got power front disc brakes
Okay.
and rear drums.
Because I knew it didn't create enough vacuum because of the cam. The 4-speed had a different camshaft than the automatic did.
No, let me stand corrected. I think you're right. I think it has power steering, but not power brakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
correct.
I
Yeah.
knew the overlap
Yeah.
on the cam just
Yeah.
it would not generate enough vacuum to give you the vacuum assist on the brakes. But what a cool car is that! I have a 70 Rally 350. It's not here today because the ignition switch failed last night when I was getting it ready to bring.
Well, I really enjoy driving this one occasionally. I just take it out, maybe every couple of months and drive it a few miles because, I think they deserve to be driven and seen, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just kind of the caretaker. And,
You always been a car guy?
yeah, starting when
What-
I was 15 and I was just getting my beginner's driver's license, my father, our family sedan happened to be in the shop, and this was in 1966, and he rented a Shelby GT350 from Hertz.
Oh, yes.
And,
sure.
The black and gold ones.
oh, yeah, black and gold.
So your dad was a car guy too.
Well, he wasn't as crazy as I am about it. But,
Right.
yeah, he was a little into performance. But actually, he did that on 2 occasions in that year. 2 different occasions, rented a GT350 Hertz. And we had so much fun with it. He let me drive it a few times, which wasn't allowed in the contract, but I did. And he liked it so much, he ordered a brand new 67 GT350, which I ended up driving as if it were my own. It wasn't titled in my name, but all through high school and college, that was my daily driver.
You were the cool kid. Everybody wanted to ride with you.
No, either that or mad at him all the time because
He'd
he's
be
got
whipping
the
up on
cool
him.
car.
Well, that's where I began really appreciating Carroll Shelby and his cars and Cobras. And I remember my father bought me his biography, which was published around that time.
Right.
And I just was really absorbed by that and became a big fan. I've been a big Carroll Shelby fan of his vehicles for ever since then. So, I really get a kick out of when I see one on the street.
And there's a Shelby Oldsmobile connection. Carroll Shelby made the Series 1, which was a Oldsmobile Aurora powered pure custom car. The GM parts bin stuff because it had a
Is that the
Corvette-
early 90s?
yeah
Yeah.
95, 96 about the time the Aurora came out. And it had a lot of Corvette power suspension stuff on it and transaxle, but the Oldsmobile engine in it.
Yeah. I like the look of that car. That was a nice looking car.
They didn't make very
They
many
just
of
didn't
them.
sell very many.
Well,
for
they
some reason.
didn't make many of them, and A lot of them out there right now are in serious disrepair.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's a couple of them here in Houston that are in pieces.
Well, there's a couple of other stablemates that I'd like to add to the collection one day. I mean, no rush, but if I find the right ones, and that'd be a 70 Buick GSX.
Oh, yeah.
455.
Saturn yellow.
Yeah, there's only 2 colors, and I prefer the white with the 4-speed and the stage 1, which would make it the most rare. But I think those look good, and you know the 3 GM divisions each had their own muscle car that year.
Just saw a 70 model GTO Judge drive by with a Ram Air in it.
Yeah, I think the GTO for 70 would be another desirable one to have. You know, just to fit the mold of those cars I've mentioned, though, it would be the 455, although I guess arguably the Ram Air 400 was maybe a little bit better performance.
Well, you, sir, are the man, and we sure appreciate you stopping by. Unfortunately, our show is coming to an end, so we have to say goodbye. But thank you so much for stopping by. You're going to be out to the next one on December 19th?
I'll be here if the weather permits.
Maybe bring the 70 Chevelle?
Yeah, maybe I'll bring the Chevelle LS6.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to it. Thanks again. Well, that's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like. Tell your friends about us and share our junk. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting feature, along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict.
And we added Pandora this week.
Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our video and marketing maven is Jeffrey Zekin. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by Cantinflas. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars and his royalty king Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong saying so long for now, and we hope that you'll join us on the next live show. That's next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Thanks for being part of the In Wheel Time family. Mask up and stay healthy. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you next week.